So we've got that kind of done. Now the backpack we're going to treat a little bit differently. And I'm going to turn polypaint on so you can kind of see what we had drawn. So now this one, we're going to get into how to ZRemesh this thing and then slice it and maybe do a little bit of panel loops to get the job done. So, and that's actually what I'm going to end up doing for the rest of this guy, just to kind of do a little cleanup pass for him. So let's get started on that. So right now this thing is 2 polygroups. I'm going to hit Control W to make it all one. And we turn polypaint off, you can see that. And then with polypaint on, we can see where we want that dividing line to go. So I'm going to hold down Control Shift. And now I need to make the decision, do I ZRemesh it first to get it lower res but nice and smooth? And the reason why I say nice and smooth is the fewer polygons you have, when you divide it, it just averages vertices and it makes a smooth result. If you have a ton of polygons, then you can run into stuff that's like, oh, it's a little bit wobbly in here, so you got to go in and smooth it and H-polish and blah, blah, blah. So to get things really smooth, one way to do that is to go in and reduce the number of points that are there to make up the shape, and then when you hit Subdivide or Control D, it will automatically give you a smoother result. So that's kind of what we're going to do with this backpack, because right now you can see if we Alt-tap it, turn the polypaint off, you can see it's pretty smooth, but it's a little lumpy in there a little bit. So let's make it really smooth. So one way to do that, I'm going to hold down Shift and shoot it to the top so I know where it is. I'm going to duplicate it off, grab the duplicate, and then go down here to Geometry and go to ZRemesher, and I'm going to go into solo mode and turn polyframe off so we can see what it's doing. Now we have X symmetry turned on, so when it ZRemeshes, it's going to be symmetrical. We're going to do a target size. We'll turn adaptive size down to 0, which it already is because it inherited those properties from when we inserted it on the original mesh. You can say same, you can say half. It's like 60,000 points right now. What I'm going to do is turn that off, and I'm just going to say, you know what, 1K. I'm just going to type in 1K, hit ZRemesh, and give me the result. Looks okay. Now when I hit D, which is that dynamic preview under Geometry, Dynamic Subdiv, making it look like it's subdivided, pretty smooth result. And we can go ahead and do that. So let's just, we'll hit ZRemesh. And now you're going to see it kind of averages the shape. So the reason I made a duplicate is I'm going to turn the eyeball off for all of that, touch the nameplate, touch the eyeball for the other one, go out of solo mode. So now I've just got those two showing. I can go down here now to project all, and I can project my low res back to my high res shape, and that'll get rid of some of the loss when I'm averaging the vertices. So I'll turn polyframe back on. We're still in solo mode. I'm going to go down here to ZRemesher, and I can just do half ZRemesh, or I could type in like 0.5 in the adaptive size, and that's what it gives me. So now I've hit D. Very, very smooth result. If I hit half again, even smoother. Now, again, it is averaging that, so I can go in here, turn off. You don't have to turn off solo actually, but just hit project all, and I'll start projecting. Let's do Shift D. There we go. So now this one is a little bit too low res. So I'm going to undo that. This one's actually fine, I think. It seems to be doing a little bit of weird stuff, but you know what? When we split this thing and ZRemesh again, I think it'll work better. So I'm going to undo one more time. Let's go back to the original, and let's try ZRemeshing this time with this split cut in here. So again, with the polyframe off, Control W, it's all one polygroup. Hold down Control Shift. We're going to go to Slice, turn on paint back on so we can see. And as I tap Alt once, it's going to give me that nice soft curve. Tap it again, and we're just getting a nice soft curve all the way through. And now we have two polygroups. So now what we can do is turn off polyframe, turn off our polypaint here, go down to ZRemesher, and this time I'm going to say keep groups. And what that's going to do is put in a control line right here. So now when it ZRemeshes, we'll just do again a poly count of 1,000. 1 enter, keep group ZRemesh, 0 adaptive size. That'll go ahead and put a line right where that split is. Much better result. Love it. Nice. If you want to, go ahead and just do a project all, but I think this is going to work really well. So now this one, what you can do is you have much fewer points to move around, so you can kind of move these points out, and then when you hit D to get that dynamic preview, it's super nice and smooth. Hit Shift D to go out of that. And we can also go through here and we can do a panel loops. In this case, let's try it. So let's do, well, you know what? I'm not going to do a panel loops for this. I'm just going to do a close hole. So I'm going to hold down Control Shift, grab my select rectangle, isolate this top one. Actually, you know what? Since I just have two groups, let's do a group split. hit OK. And because, like I said, it can sometimes get a little bit crashy. Oh, we don't need our original. Remember we duplicated that backpack off. We don't need the original anymore. Just hit delete. So remember I said it could maybe get crashy. Do a quick save, hit comma key, double click this last quick save, hit no, and then I'll just reload this, maybe make it a little less crashy. Go into solo mode here, and now I'm going to use a little bit of ZModeler. If you want to see both sides of this mesh, see how it kind of has backface culling on, go all the way to the bottom here, turn on display properties, hit double, and now we're ready to kind of do a little bit of ZModeler work.